Folks, the House of Representatives just approved a new $3.5 trillion budget plan. The IRS made a new announcement on the next round of stimulus payments, folks, and I'm going to be telling you all the details in this video. So you want to be sure to stay until the end, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family.
In the middle of a time when senior poverty is increasing, when people are struggling to keep their heads above water, Republicans and some Democrats came up with a brilliant idea. And the brilliant idea was to go forward with what is called a chain CPI, which is a fancy term for cutting cost of living adjustments for Social Security, for the elderly and the disabled.
So the House advanced the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill while simultaneously approving a $3.5 trillion budget blueprint that clears the way for Democrats in Congress to take action on a sweeping package, which includes many parts of President Biden's agenda. Now, lawmakers fought along party lines, 220 to 212, to approve a rule that deemed the budget framework as passed.
All over the country, the National Committee to Defend Social Security and Medicare, the AARP, other senior groups, we brought in millions of names in petitions, and we ended up beating back the effort to cut Social Security. But that's only a partial victory, because the goal should not be just to defeat efforts to cut Social Security.
A key step forward enacting Biden's broader families plan and set a September 27th deadline for the House to pass the infrastructure measure. Folks, I want you to know this. Nancy Pelosi sit on the House floor. Passing this rule paves the way for the Build Back Better plan, which will forge legislative process unseen in 50 years that will stand for generations alongside the New Deal and the Great Society. Folks, don't forget that President Biden has praised Congress and their progress on his Build Back Better agenda. He said the country is a step closer to truly investing in the American people.
The goal should be to expand benefits for people who desperately need them. So how do you do that? Well, it's not hard to do. First of all, anyone who tells you that Social Security is going broke is not telling you the truth. Social Security has a trust fund.
Now, the vote in the House was initially set to take place on Monday evening, but was delayed after Pelosi and a group of moderate Democrats were at a stalemate over when the chamber would take up the bipartisan infrastructure plan passed by the Senate this month. Now, the group of moderates, which started at 9 lawmakers and grew to 10 on Monday, threatened to block the budget blueprint unless the House votes on the infrastructure bill first. Pelosi, meanwhile, has repeatedly said that the House would not vote on the infrastructure plan, which focuses on physical infrastructure and left out many Democratic priorities, until the Senate passes the sweeping social spending plan. Progressive Democrats, too, have threatened out the bipartisan infrastructure bill until the larger package wins Senate approval. And soon after the vote on Tuesday, the Congressional Progressive Caucus reiterated their position, saying that members will only vote for the infrastructure bill after the reconciliation bill is passed. Now, the Democrats are using a process called budget reconciliation to approve the larger spending package, which includes Biden's plan for child and elder care, an expansion of Medicare, and universal pre-K. Passage of the budget framework is the first step in that process, and its approval allows the Democratic-led Congress to fast-track the sweeping families measure and pass the Senate without GOP support. So the standoff between Pelosi and the moderate Democrats derailed initial plans for the House to advance the infrastructure bill budget blueprint Monday evening. Now, the logjam broke on Tuesday as the House convened to pass the procedural measure, tying approval of the budget framework with the commitment of the chamber to vote on the infrastructure bill by September 27th, as well as advancing the voting rights bill. What do you think about this, everybody? What are your thoughts on this, folks? What are your thoughts on the new infrastructure bill and President Biden's work on stimulus? Do you approve it or do you not? Tell me what you think in the comments below. So at this point, we're at the halfway mark in the federal government's distribution of a 6-check series of child tax credit payments. The payments being new stimulus checks and stem from the $1.9 trillion relief legislation that Congress passed. Now we're a little more than 3 weeks out from the third child tax credit being sent out by the IRS, and that's scheduled to happen on September 15th. These checks, remember, are one half of an advance payment of the temporarily expanded child tax credit, with the second half of the total amount scheduled to come next year, as a normal tax credit. Meanwhile, the IRS over the weekend shared an important update that child tax credit payment recipients might want to take note of. The IRS website involves an update to the online child tax credit portal, an update that those of you who are receiving these payments as paper checks must know. The website notes that the IRS has launched a new feature allowing any family receiving the CTC payments to quickly and easily update their mailing address using the child tax credit update portal.
Of $2.7 trillion can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 19 years. Okay? Now, 19 years means that we're not in a crisis, but it does mean that we should act as soon as possible. What do we do? What's the solution? Who tells me?
It's Kamala Harris standing behind Joe Biden when he made his speech, when he made his State of the Union, his message to a joint session of Congress. But of course it was exciting, and all the pride we take in Vice President Harris, that's for sure. But what was really important was the speech he made. It wasn't about women standing behind him, it was what we were doing for women going forward. And he made a speech that is our fight right now, and as Carmen said, where women have made the difference in supporting a Build Back Better agenda. Build Back Better for women. Build Back Better for women. We have child care, child tax credit, family and medical leave, paid family and medical leave, universal pre-K, child tax credit. Did I say that again and again? The list goes on of what he has put into his agenda, which is the Biden agenda for women. And this is where women make a difference. We wouldn't have such an aggressive agenda. Rosa DeLauro has been working on these issues for 2 decades at least, and some of the other initiatives. We would have expanded benefits for Medicare, expanded subsidies for Affordable Care Act. We will have more benefits, dental, visual, and hearing for people on Medicare. This is all about empowering women so that their families are cared for, that their children are cared for, so that we can have women in the workplace making the difference. Children learning, families earning, parents earning, that's our motto in all of this. So all of this is connected to the vote. Think of the courage it took for the suffragists to reach that goal. It took decades. It took decades. We stand on their shoulders. But as Terry Sewell told us the other day in the debate on the floor, one of the women, 100 and something years old, who came to State of the Union address of President Obama,